Hello everyone and welcome to MBK. Today we're going to continue doing some more reducing fraction problems. So let's get started. We have 28 over 36. So 28, we know 28 is an even number. 2 will go into 28 14 times. 2 will go into 14 7 times. 7 will go into 7 1 time. And when you reach 1 you're done. So on the numerator we're going to write 2 times 2 times 7 times 1. Let's do the same thing with 36. So 36, you know, 36 is an even number. If you can't do this really quickly or you don't know it offhand, you can always do this. 2 will go into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. Get the difference, drop down to 6. 2 will go into 16 8 times. So right here we write 18. 2 will go into 18 9 times. 9 is, let's see, 3 will go into 9 3 times, and 3 will go into 3 1 time. That's what we write down on the denominator. So 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 1. Okay, so now we just cancel like terms. This 2 cancels that 2, this 2 cancels that 2, and we are left with 7 times 1, 3 times 3 times 1. So 7 times 1, well that's 7, and 3 times 3 is 9, and that is our answer. Okay, so the next problem in the agenda is 50 over 75. Okay, so here I'm going to write down my maths over here, and we have 50. Well, we know that 50 is an even number because it ends in 0. Well, how many times will 2 will go into 50? Off the top of my head, I know it's 25. Okay, if you didn't know that, you could just do the quick division, like so. 50 and divided by 2. 2 will go into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Get the difference, drop down to 0. 2 will go into 10 5 times. See, 25, and what we wrote down here, 25. Okay, so 25. Well, we know 25 is not an even number, and we don't really know if 3 will go into 25 evenly, but we know 5 will, so we can go with 5. 5 will go into, if you remember your times tables, 5 times 5 is 25, and 5 will go into 5 one time, and we're done with that one. So let's go back here, and we'll write 2 times 5 times 5 times 1. Let's do the same thing with 75. 75. Okay, so we know that 5 will go into 75 because 5 will go into any number that ends in 0 or ends in 5. So let's start with 5. Well, how many times will 5 go into 75? Off the top of my head, I don't know. So let's do some division. 75. 5 will go into 7 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. And get the difference. Drop down to 5. 5 will go into 25 5 times. So 5 times 15 will be equal to 75. So 3 will go into 15 5 times, or 5 will go into 15 3 times, it doesn't matter. And 5 will go into 5 one time. And we just write this down. 5 times 3 times 5 times 1. Okay, so now we just cancel like terms. We have a 5 up here, and we have a 5 down here, cancel that. 5 here and a 5 here, cancel that. So we're left with 2 times 1 and 3 times 1. Well, you can think of it one of two ways. We can either cancel this because they are like terms, or we can just multiply it out. 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 times 1 is 3. And that's our answer. The next problem we have on the agenda is 64 over 32. Okay, we're just going to keep doing the same thing we've been doing with all the previous problems. 64. We know 64 is an even number. We don't know how many times 2 will go into 64, so 2 divided into 64. 2 will go into 6 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. Get the difference, drop down to 4. 2 will go into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Remainder 0. So we know this 32 goes right here. Oh, that looks like a 6. This 32 go right there. 2 is 32 is an even number, so let's divide 2 into 32. 2 will go into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. Get the difference, drop down to 2. 2 will go into 12 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. And we get a remainder of 0, so 16 right here. Get a little bracket going. And 2 will go into 16. Well, 2 times 8 is 16. 8 is also an even number, so 2 will go into 8 4 times. 2 will go into 4 2 times, sorry. And 2 will go into 2 1 time. Okay, so right here, we just write all these 2's and that 1. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a little tedious, but eventually this will become second nature. And let's do 32. Well, with 32, we already did it. We did 32 right here. So all we have to do is just copy that up here. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And there's 5 2's. So let's cancel like terms. This cancels that. This cancels that. This cancels that. This one and this one cancel. And finally this one and this one cancel. Okay, so we're left with 2 times 1 over 1. And what's 2 times 1? Well, that's 2 and 1. Or you can drop, if in the denominator you have a 1, you can just drop that 1 and here's your answer. It's a whole number. It's not even a fraction. Next problem is going to be 100 into 85. This one looks a little bit scary, but actually it might prove to be one of the easier ones in this video. Start with 100. Well, we know that 5 will go into any number that ends in 0 or 5. And we know 5 is a prime number, so we can use 5. 5 will go into 100, well, 20 times. It's just something I memorized. Takes 20 nickels to make $1. That's one way to memorize that. Or you can just do it the old-fashioned way. 5 will go into 100. 5 will go into 1 0 times. So 0 times 5 is 0. Get the difference. Drop down that 0. 5 will go into 10 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. Get the difference. Drop down to 0. 5 will go into 0 0 times. And see, it's 20, just like I said. Okay, so, we have a 0 again. So we know 5 will go into it. 5 will go into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. We know 2 times 2 is 4. We know that 2 will go into 2 1 time, and that wasn't too bad, right? So you'll end up knowing all these little tricks and these patterns that show up, and they make life a lot easier. But I gotta emphasize, you have to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Okay, so we're gonna have 5 times 5 times 2 times 2 times 1. Now let's do 85. Just like we did with the 100, this number ends in 5, so we can start off with 5. 5 will go into 85. Oof, well, I don't know off the top of my head. So let's go ahead and do some division. 5 will go into 8 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Get the difference, which is 3. Drop down that 5. 5 times something is 35. Well, we know that that's 7. 7 times 5 is 35. The difference is 0, so we put this number right here. Well, we could go through all the prime numbers that we know, or we can, if we have memorized it already, we'd already know that 17 is a prime. And if you remember the list I kept writing, our first couple of prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19. And see, 17 is right there. So 17 will go into 17 one time. And that's it for this one in terms of doing it this way. 5 times 17 times 1. Okay, let's cancel like terms. 5 and 5 will cancel, and that's all they can cancel. Well, the ones can cancel. The ones can always cancel. So we are left with 5 times 2 times 2 over 17. And this looks a little messy, so let me write a better arrow. Okay. Oh, I just can't get it. Okay, here we go. So 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 times 2 is 20. I'll just write it right here. 5 times 2 times 2 times 17. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10 times 2, right? And 17. And 2 times 10 is 20 over 17. And that is the lowest fraction that reduces to. Looks a little funny, but I promise you it is the lowest fraction you can get from 100 over 85. Okay, so last problem that we're going to go over is, oh look, our list of prime numbers ended up being on the top. Anyways, our final problem is going to be 120 over 84. Okay, so I think we did 84 earlier. No, we didn't. We did 85. But it doesn't matter. So 120, well, it ends in 0, so we know we can use 5. Okay. And let's do some quick division. So 120. 5 will go into 1 0 times. 0 times 5 is 0. Get the difference. Drop down to 2. 5 will go into 12 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. Get the difference. And drop down the next number, which is 0. 5 will go into 24 times. So right here we write 24. Okay, if you don't believe me, 24 times 5. 5 times 4 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. So we write down 0 here, 2 up there. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. And see? Same thing. Okay, so 24. 2 will go into 24 12 times because we did it earlier. 2 will go into 12 6 times. 3 will go into 6 2 times. And 2 will go into 2 1 time. Let's do 84. Let me write these up here. So it's going to be 5 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 1. 84. We know 84 is an even number. So 2 will go into 84. Oh, I don't know. So 2, 84. 2 will go into 8 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Get the difference, that's 0. Drop down to 4. 2 will go into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Get the difference at 0, so 42. Okay, 42 is an even number, so let's do 42. Oops, look, I'm so used to it. 2 will go into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Difference. Drop down to 2. 2 will go into 2 1 time. 1 times 2 is 2. Get the difference, and that's 0. So 21. Oh, and I forgot to write that 2 right there. 21. Okay. What number goes into 21? Oh, well, 3. 3 times 7 is 21. 7 is a prime number. 7 will go into 7 1 time. So here we go. Once you reach 1, you're done. And we have 2 times 2 times 3 times 7 times 1. Okay, cancel like terms. We have 2 2's here. We have 2 2's up there. We have 3 here, 3 there. And that looks like it's it. So 5 times 2 times 1, 7 times 1. And what's 5 times 2? That's 10. Times 1 is 10. And 7 times 1 is 7. And that is the fraction reduced to its lowest form. Well, that does it for these problems. If you have any further questions, feel free to post your question in the comments below or message me.